Hello, now am I audible, guys? Just let me know, guys. Am I audible now? Hello. Has yes. So I hope now I am audible and visible clearly. Okay. Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much for the confirmation. So this is me, Anam Khan from Let's Upgrade. I am one of the co-team member of Let's Upgrade, and I'm here just to welcome you all to the day one of HTML5 Bootcamp, where you will master web development skills. Okay, my voice is low. Kya? Okay, so sorry, guys. Okay. Thank you, guys. So, guys, this is the day one of HTML Bootcamp, and I welcome you all to this Bootcamp. And I'm just the host of. I will just host the session, and our trainer is Sarthak Batra sir, a senior software engineer. So no, guys, मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगी. I'm not the trainer. I'm just here to let you all know the attendance process and everything, how to mark the attendance and get a certificate. And there is one doc link in the description box. We have mentioned all the things there. There you can find all the notes and like how to mark the certificate. I will share my screen and will show you all. Just a second, guys. Guys, now I hope my screen is also visible to you all. Hello. Guys, just give me the confirmation in the chat box that my screen is visible to you all. Hello. Yes. Okay, thank you, guys. Guys, just put something in the chat box, that put some emojis, or let me know from where you people are connecting, from which background, means from where you are connecting, what studies you are doing and all. We can connect, and till then I will show you like what all the things are there to get your certificate. So here in the description box you can see attendance link. Click on this link, you will be redirected to this to the enrollment page. And first of all, you need to enroll for this program. I have already, so I think it won't give me the option to enroll now. But yeah, first of all, you need to enroll for this boot camp. What's the issue? Yeah, so scroll down the page. Here beside the day one, you will get to see mark attendance option. Click on this. You have scale 0 to 10. You can mark it according to yourself. You need to give the ratings, how much you like the session, and if you really like it, please make sure and share it to your friends. And for now I will give 10 on 10. Here we also have feedback option. You can give anything to us, like if you want any improvement for us, any appreciation for us, you can write it here, then submit your attendance. Then make sure that you are reloading the page after marking the attendance. Here you can see the progress bar. It will increase day by day as you mark your attendance. And to get the certificate on day 3, you need to mark all the day 3 assignments. And here beside the progress bar, you can see generate certificate option on day 3. And we also have WhatsApp, Telegram groups. You can join us there, get the latest updates and reminders from our side, and stay connected with us there. We are also having another upcoming bootcamp after the workshop first, that is on Google and growing Narendra on startup and investing communities. And also we have upcoming CSS bootcamp. You can enroll for it. And guys, this is, here you can see all-in-one documentation. Here we have stored all the things, the notes, lectures links, enrollment links, and steps how to mark your attendance and get the certificate. So save this link somewhere so that you can refer it anytime. And yeah, another thing is we have also student ambassador program going on. It's a 1 month program. Now just now we have launched our April month batch. The batch renews every month, so you can enroll for it. You get amazing you get benefit, like you get swags, incentives, coupons, and chance to work with LetsUpgrade team. And also you get to attend workshops. So yeah, that was it. You can go through this page and enroll for this SAB program. Now I will call our trainer, who is send the link. Okay, I will share the links in the chat box also, guys. Wait, and I will call our trainer, who is Sarthak Batra. So hope you guys will enjoy the session, and please make sure that you are spamming the chat, and please let us know if you have any doubt. We are here to solve it. So now I will call the trainer. Just a second, guys.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome in. I'm Sarthak, and I'll be your host today. And yeah, come on in, everyone. Please keep pouring in. I'm seeing a lot of movement happening. Please, if you're here, let me know your names in the chat. Please let me know your presence in the chat. And I'll take a minute. I'll just quickly check if the stream is going fine, if we are actually live or not. Looks like we are. Looks like everything is in order. Okay, that's a good thing, really. Yeah, I think we're gonna wait just a couple more minutes, couple more moments for more people to join in. In the meantime, if you're here, make your presence known in the chat. I'll be happy to say hi to everyone. I will go on and tell you people about myself. That's going to be in just a short while. So yeah, please join in, pour in. Let's actually do that. Like, by the way, if you're in the chat while we are waiting for everyone, I'll also be in the chat from my own account, and I'll be interacting with everyone. So if you're here, hi, I'll see you in the chat. Let's just wait for everyone while we're at the chat. You know what? I thought let's just, while we wait, why don't we still just talk? Right? Okay. So let's do this simple thing. I'll start this time. I'll use this time to introduce myself, set the agenda for today, and tell you about what we are going to do today and for the coming days. Okay, let's do it this way. I'll take you to my screen. Okay, let's take you to my screen. I hope you can see this. I prepared a good PPT for all of you to see, and let's begin. Okay, are we not? Are we this? Why is this not running? Okay, so as you can see, this is the HTML5 Bootcamp and presented by Sarthak Batra. That's me with LetsUpgrade. And in case you're wondering who's Sarthak Batra, I'll have to say, hello world. I am Sarthak Batra. Who? This guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Okay, so I'm a senior software engineer. I've written code that is used by companies, and lakhs of users use the code that I've written. It powers a lot of, critical infrastructure for the internet. And I've had 9+ years of experience in web development and leading teams. I've done some good work, is all I have to say. But anyway, let's move forward. Let's wait for 5 minutes for everyone to pour in. And in the meantime, you can let your presence know in the chat, as I said before. So yeah, okay, let's wait on this title screen for a while we have more people coming in. I can see some movement happening in the chat, and I'm glad to see it. Right. While we do this, let me tell you about my setup. I have the main screen here right in front of me. I have another screen which is there. That is my notes screen. I've obviously prepared some notes, right? So that I can give you the best of information. And the camera is right there. So I'll be, moving around, looking on. And if you have any more questions about this, you know what to do. Okay. Right. Let's give it a minute while you guys tell me about, in the chat, tell me about how did you get to know about this stream and what are your goals from this stream? What do you want to get out of this stream? Because setting the expectations, in my personal belief, is very important, right? You must know why you are doing what you are doing. So yeah, fire off in the chat. Tell me, what do you expect to take out of the stream? I'll tell you what I can provide you for this stream, and I'll come to it in just a while. So why don't you go on and tell me in the chats? Please pop off with your messages. That's my chat is also there, by the way, so I'll have to look there for the chat to see what everyone's saying. But please pop off. Please go on. Tell me about it. I'll just also, keep hydrating. Very important, because to me, I'm just speaking to a camera and it feels weird, which is why I'm saying I'd very much love you to, make this a two-way conversation instead of me talking to a camera. So I'd very much love for this to be a two-way conversation. Sometimes I follow my words. Those are typos in real life, if you will. Okay. Anyway, let's just wait a minute. And I think we've waited enough. I think let's move on. Okay, so let me set the agenda for today. Why are you and I here today? Well, as you know, this is a boot camp for HTML. We will set the foundation over which you can build further understanding of the subject. Today, we talk about initiating you into the world of web development. It is a far, vast, big, great, and wide world. And let this be your first step, the first step towards greatness. Okay, let's move on. As I say, let's get started. Okay, the first questions usually that people have when they're joining this kind of sessions, in my experience and of what I've seen, is, people are usually, the first things they ask is how the web even works. So I think that is what we're going to address first. And, I see a lot of TV serials. So I try to incorporate memes in my study material because I'm cool like that. So if you've seen this episode, you will know I'm about to monologue, son. And 9. Anyway, so while we do this, I have to remind you, you do not need to take any screenshots of any of these screens, or you don't need to, worry about writing things down. None of those things. You will get all of these resources in the description for what you're watching right now. You'll get all of the help, all the resources that you want right now. So you don't really need to worry about it. Okay. Anyway, so while we are here, I'll show you a picture. I'd like you to do this for me. Can someone explain this picture to me? This is a very, I don't know. It's been shown to people a lot of times. A lot of people understand what it means, and there is some majority of people who don't. So I'd like to see, where do you guys stand in that spectrum? Tell me how many of you understand this picture, or take a shot at just telling me what do you think this picture means. I'll be more than happy to clear any doubts, and we can talk about this picture more. I'll be having a lot of water because I'll constantly be speaking and typing in the chat. So, why don't you guys just please interact with me? That'll be fun. So go on, interact with me. Tell me about this picture, and I'll type things down, which I am right now, and I'll interact with you there. But I'll also be having a lot of water in between and taking a few pauses. Anywho, I see some reactions coming in, and yeah, so simple client server picture. I am sure tons of people must have told you about this. Tons of people must have used the analogy of a restaurant, that you go in there And the public facing side of things, that's the restaurant, the actual building, the tables, the chairs, the servers, the waiters, that's essentially the front end or the client in this scenario. And whatever request you give to the server here is essentially the one who takes your request and gives you back a response. And in your case, you may tell the customer that you feel like having a burger, and they'll prepare a burger for you. They'll take that request, do some processing on it. Of course, by that I mean that somebody in the kitchens will be processing it, making a burger for you. That's the back end side of things. But the server will then come back with a response, which is your prepared meal, ready for you to enjoy. Okay, so that's the analogy most people give, and I think I'll stick to that because it's pretty predominant. Anyway, so there are a few tasks that there are a few words that I'd like you to know. What do you mean by clients in this context? Clients are typically web users, internet connected devices. For example, your computer connected to your Wi-Fi or your phone connected to your mobile network, and web accessing software available on those devices, usually a web browser like Firefox or Chrome. So that's what client means in this context, in the context of this picture, right? Similarly, let's move on to what does the server mean? It's not essentially a waiter, but servers are computers that store web pages, sites, or apps. When a client device wants to access a web page, a copy of a web page is downloaded from the server onto the client machine and displayed in the client's web browser or the user's web browser. And yeah, those are the most accepted definitions. These are not necessarily jargons, but it's good to have that information, right? Let's move on. I want to talk to you about a few more jargons, a few more words that will be helpful for you to understand the meanings of. So let's say a quick hello to my friends here, and we're talking about how internet works. So these are the line of items that interact with when we are talking about how the web works. The first point of interaction is your internet connection. So that allows you to send and receive data on the web. It's basically like a street between your house and the shop, sticking with the same example, the example of a restaurant, right? So, and the TCP/IP essentially means the transmission control protocol and internet protocol are communications protocol that define how data should travel across the internet. This is like the transport mechanisms that let you place an order, go to the shop, and buy your good. In our example, this is like a car or a bike or whatever else you might get around, right? So the restaurant example, now you want to go to the restaurant. You use a bike, and there are some rules that you must follow when you're using that bike. This is what TCP/IP does in that analogy. Right. Moving on, the DNS. DNS means domain name system. It's like an address book for websites where you type a web address in your browser, and the browser looks at the DNS to find the website's IP before it can retrieve the website. The browser needs to find out which server the website lives on so it can send across those HTTP messages to the right place. And this is like looking up to the address of the shop so you can access it. I noticed that I've put C below there. This was when I was making these presentations, and the diagram, there was supposed to be a diagram here, but I took that diagram off, put that in the earlier slide, so which is why it's not here. Anywho, while this happens, again, at any point of time, you feel like you have any questions, please do not hesitate. Please send in your questions in the chat. I'll have me or one of my friends replying from my account, so that at all times you have all the information available. Okay, all the resources available. Yeah. So we're talking about HTTP. HTTP simply means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is an application protocol that defines language for clients and servers to speak to each other. This is like the language you use to order your goods at whatever restaurant you are. The way I understand it is a little different. We'll come to it. We'll come to that understanding in just a while. And yeah, component files. A website is made up of many different files, which are like the different parts of goods you buy from the shop. These files come in two main types. So the two main types that I'm going to talk about are these, which is assets. This is a collective name for all other stuff that make a website, such as images, music, video, Word documents, and PDF. So everything apart from the script that you write is assets, right? And then code files. The rest of it is code file. The script that you write becomes a part of the code file. So websites are built primarily from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you'll meet other technologies a bit later, right? Yeah. So go up in the comments. Any questions till now? I see a lot of people are, confused about HTTP, which is why I took that example earlier of a client server being from a restaurant. And yeah, I do see some questions about HTTP. My understanding of HTTP, right? I said I'll explain later. I'll explain it now. So my understanding of HTTP is, so think of web as a canvas, okay? And every website as a canvas. So HTTP, the way I look at it, is it essentially makes it components, little boxes that you can use, and you can put different tags in it. Those tags act as further components in which you can put your stuff. It's like making a poster, right? So literally, that's how I see it. It's like designing a poster. And yeah, I will be able to explain more about it when we reach that part. But please, any more questions? Please give me more questions. I'd love to solve them. I'd love to do them. Yeah, let me just quickly go through if I see any more interesting questions that everyone can benefit from. A question I see very frequently is what do I mean by it being a canvas or making a poster? Yeah, that's actually that's the question that I'm seeing. So that actually means there was a time initially in the initial days of HTML when it was just formed. None of these things were there. The websites were supposed to be staticky, just content, no images, or not a lot of images, not a lot of efficiency when it came to those images. That was essentially Web 1. In fact, that is going to be the target of the next slide, and I'll take you there. Let's talk about HTML1 here. Okay, the first generation of HTML, and it was created in 1991 by Tim Berners-Lee, and it's the oldest, most basic version of HTML, and did not support any interactivity, styling, or modern syntax. Just showed static content and assets. So no JavaScript, no CSS, which to many I know will say that it was a blessing in disguise. But yeah, that part of internet was very basic, very not a lot of pizzazz in it. So yeah, just the first version of internet, essentially Web 1, which we call it, was just made to transmit information without any interactivity. Okay, and it did not support, like I was saying, it did not support interactivity. Oh, did I repeat this? I think I did. Yeah, I repeated this point. I'm sorry, I was preparing that presentation earlier. I didn't notice that I was repeating a point. Couldn't have. Anyway, so HTML2, what did HTML2 bring? It brought a standardization of HTML, not completely, but more of what you see today. I'll explain what I mean by that. So a lot of the skeleton system of what you see today over the internet, the basics were laid down in HTML2. So, you see a header, header has some sections like navigations, you see a lot of usage of forms, of tables. Those were the standardizations that were set by HTML2. So supported forms for the first time. Before this, you did not have forms. Okay, and supported tables for the first time. And going forward, so it also marks the formation of the Web3 consortium. It's W3C. I'm sure you must have heard the name of W3C schools. That's website that has a lot of information, or if you're searching for any resources, W3C schools usually has a lot of information. But if you ask me, I wouldn't recommend that. I would ask you to go to MDN, Mozilla Developer Network. It's a far, in my opinion, a far more streamlined effort at doing what W3C is doing. And I mean W3C schools, the website, not W3C, the web consortium. Anyway, so moving on, HTML 3.2 or HTML3, as we call it, it used updated forms. There were more functionalities added to forms. It finally added some sort of CSS support, but those were inline CSS or on-page CSS that we used to write. And it also gave us enhanced image features and extended character set. So initially, and because of the circumstances in which HTML was created, it was mostly English and European languages. HTML 3.2 or 3, as it is commonly known, was the first time we started including other character sets and other enhance essentially language support and character support, which brings us to HTML4, or I like to call it XHTML, because that's when it, popularized a lot of XML to use as the language for API response, API exchange. So yeah, CSS linking, because like I said, in the earlier parts for HTML3 and onwards, the CSS had to be written down on the same page, but this allowed us to finally have a link tag on which we can link our CSSs. You'll know what I mean about that in just a minute. And it introduced us to new tags like footer, header, etc. So, a lot of the DNA of what you see now of the current web, the HTML5, we are on HTML version 5, that was because we had HTML4. So that set the background for it. We had table enhancements in it. And finally, coming to the current generation of HTML, we are on generation 5. We call it HTML5, simple as that. It was proposed in 2008 and adopted in 2014 and gave us semantic web. So like I was saying, in HTML4, we were talking about footers, headers. This is when we embraced them with open arms. These are called semantic tags. They make good use of, how do I put it? Every element, every part of the website has a dedicated tag that makes it easier for website crawlers, for alt images. They just make it the web more accessible to everyone. That's what semantic tags do. And we also had enhanced browser and web tags like audio and video, because I think in HTML 3 or 2, you didn't have that support. So you had to have, Flash imported in your website to use something like an audio and video, which had its own security risks. So yeah, so finally in HTML5 we had native web APIs like audio, video, location, so on and so forth, right? And again, this is just a diagram telling all of what I just said, and you don't have to, so that you can look at it in a visual manner, and you don't have to screenshot. All of this will be available to you. Okay, at this point I will take a break because I will wait for your questions, and at this point we will go on and start making our first web page. That is the important part. I expect you all to food along with me. If not, I really expect you all to at least listen to me intently. All of this data, everything will be provided. I'll put everything in a repository on GitHub. A repository simply means a place where I will post all the code so that you can look at it. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of the slideshow for me. I will just use this time in a little bit to get things sorted. I'll open up my notes while you guys can. Okay, so while you guys wait, I'll open up my notes Where is this? Oh, what the hell? I'll take a pause. I will wait here a minute, and when you come back, we'll start coding. Isn't it exciting? I'm excited. I'll just go fill up my mug, just hydrate, and come back. We'll be back. And when I come back, I'd want to see a lot of questions popping up so that I can answer them. Okay? Just be back. Give me a minute. Guys, we are better. Guys, we are better prepared. Okay. Hello. Hi. Welcome back. Please come on in. Please. Let's focus again. I'll take you to my terminal. And one sec. Yeah. So I'll open a few websites already so that guys, we are better prepared. Okay. So let me actually take you to my screen so that you can see what I'm coding. Well, this is my terminal. I've just written it like this. Terminal is, if you're using a Windows, it's called PowerShell. If you're using a Mac, you can simply press Command Space and just type terminal. This thing will open, which is open right now. And while I don't really want you to open the terminal like right now, I want you to know this is a very important tool that all of us will have to use, not eventually, but definitely. Like, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Okay, so I'd like all of you to open your terminals and let me know in the chat that you're ready. I'll give you all 30 to 40 seconds, and once you're ready, we'll move on. Okay? Go on, guys. Show me your terminals. I'll, in the meantime, clear everything out. Is everyone's terminals open? PowerShells, terminals, Linux. If you're using Linux, it's still called a terminal, or a Unix shell, or a Linux shell. So, yeah. I'm impressed with you guys. You guys are doing good. Pretty good. I was much more clueless the first time I started. But anyway, let's not talk about that time. Yeah, okay. So open your terminals this part is unnecessary because I've just made an alias for the directory in which I usually code, and I've called that alias new dev. Not required for you. Essentially, just open it in any directory of your choice. I've opened it in documents slash new dev. That's where I keep all my projects. Yeah, I see questions for Windows. Okay, so yeah, I see questions for Windows in whichever directory, and by directory I simply mean a folder. So let's say you make a folder on the desktop, and that's where you want to store all your code. So just go on and make a folder on the desktop, literally called it development folder. I call it new dev because there was a folder called development already, and it was full. It was really full, and by full I mean there were a lot of projects in it, and I wanted a clean slate, so I made a new dev. Anyway, so on your desktop, make a folder, call it development. I will keep doing this with you, and for those who are on Windows, go inside, open that folder, go inside that folder, anywhere in that folder, right click. It will not happen for me. I'm unfortunately on a Mac. So open up that folder, right click, and click on open shell or terminal here. Also, my screen, if you feel that it's too small, please let me, because it's actually, I'm using a large high resolution monitor, so it squishes everything down. I'll show you what I mean. I've opened my browser here, and you can barely see anything because it's a high resolution screen. It squishes everything down, but that's not the point. When I'm coding, you'll be able to see everything. I'll just make it larger. Okay, anyway, shells open. I see everyone's shells open. That's good. And there are a few resources I'd like to talk to you about. Those are going to, help us get started. You need to know about the shell. Very important. Even if you don't use it today, we'll use it tomorrow, eventually. For sure. It's not something you can escape. Just accept it as a developer. And the very first tool that I recommend you use, so you need a place to, write your code. I've written code in Notepad and Notepad++ as well, but Microsoft has this really beautiful tool called Visual Studio Code that will take care of everything. It's called an IDE, Integrated Development Environment, and it takes care of 90%, in fact, I'd say 99% of all your development needs you'll ever have when it comes to having an editor. There are other tools like JetBrains. So WebStorm is that tool, JetBrains is the company, but this is, I believe, a paid tool. Anyway, the reason I don't use it is, so while this is a lot more focused to whatever language that you're using, Visual Studio Code is very generic, right? So you'll have to essentially mold it into what you want. JetBrains, on the other hand, what it does, it gives you editors which are pre-configured for your language of choice. So for example, if you're writing in JavaScript here, it will give you WebStorm, right? C. And PyCharm if you're writing Python, PHP Storm if you're using PHP. We are not using any of that. For our purposes, we can use WebStorm, and I think it's a free download if I'm not wrong. Yeah, in any case, so free 30-day trial, then you need a license key, and it's a lot more streamlined for JavaScript. But at the same time, the reason I don't use it, it's a drag on my resources, on the computer resources. It's essentially the Chrome of IDEs. Like Chrome takes a lot of your RAM. This takes a lot of your RAM. Visual Studio, not so much. That's why Visual Studio is my code editor of choice for everyone who's starting. In fact, I use something called NeoVim. We'll come to it later. Not required right now. Right now, just have this Visual Studio Code and we are ready to go. Give me a minute. Okay, so big blue button, it says download here and download here. Everyone, please go on and download Visual Studio Code. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. Sounds good? Yeah, 30 seconds. Please, everyone, whenever you've done it, let me know in the chat that you're ready so that we can move on. And I will actually not go on and install Visual Studio Code because I already have it. But if you're having any questions, again, write them down. You'll have the answers in the chat always. So just download Visual Studio Code. I believe by now everyone's downloaded, and go on and install. Another 30 seconds for it. Go on, install. Simple installer, just follow the instructions. It will also put the Visual Studio Code in your, what do you call it? In your path. Path is essentially, you'll be able to access it anywhere from your terminal. I'll tell you what it means. So if it asks you to put Visual Studio Code in path, please go on and give it that privilege. Please go on. Dude, I'm having dry throat a lot. The weather is changing so rapidly. Suddenly becomes so hot. Like literally 10 days ago, it wasn't as hot, and now it's just so hot and dry. So I need to keep drinking some water. I will. Anywho. Installed. Ready to go? Shall we go on? Take another 20 seconds. I see some people still saying that they are, not done. So 20. What's another 20 to 30 seconds? Please go on and take another 20 to 30 seconds, but please don't take any longer. This shouldn't be a very complex task. If you're still facing problems, try reinstalling. Try the entire setup again. If that doesn't work out, reach out to me in chat, because I want to go forward for all of the class, because I see a lot of you people are saying that you guys are ready. So I think we'll now begin. Okay. So I'll keep using these, instructions, and I'll keep telling you about them. As a matter of fact, let me switch this on. See. No. So there's this tool that I use. Let me switch it on. It's called Keycaster. What it does is it gives you guys access to all the keys that I'm using. Can you see them here? Oh, it's on my main screen. Let's switch it off then. I want you guys to be able to see my the keys that I'm pressing. Anyway, so everything up and ready. So wherever you had opened your project, open your terminal there, and this is what I mean by letting VS Code add itself to the path. Because now if you go to your terminal, first of all, restart it. Yeah, really, I'm sorry. Go on and restart it, because you need to resource it, because now that essentially you're refreshing the terminal. I have a alias that does it, and right now it's not necessary for you to understand how I set this alias up or how to refresh it with code. You can simply just close the terminal, open it again, it will be refreshed. And once you have it refreshed, this is common for I think Mac users as well. We'll write mkdir. Mkdir simply means make directory, and then we are making a folder, and we'll call that folder HTML5 class and let's upgrade. Okay. So now we want to we want to go into the folder, but without using the mouse. So if you guys are looking at it on your desktop, you will see that a new folder has been created, desktop, development, and HTML5 class, let's upgrade. So let's go inside that folder. Using the terminal, I'm going to write cd. Cd stands for change directory, because we are changing the directory from the current one, and we are going to HTML5 class let's upgrade. I press enter and I'm in. Okay, so this is what I mean by having code in the path, because now if I have to open Visual Studio Code, all I have to do is write code dot, and it opens up Visual Studio Code here, ready for your pleasure. I'll just simply create a new file. Come on. Index.html, right? Bunch of extensions that I have. So when you open your Visual Studio Code for the first time, it'll do some configurations, let it run through. There are also a few extensions that I'd like you to install at this point of time. Simply click on this and first of all make a file. Let's call it index.html and just let it stay there. We'll come back to this file in just a little while. In the meantime, there are some extensions that I want you to install. This is what I meant, that you can mold Visual Studio Code into whatever you want, right? So a few extensions, you click on this icon right here, and the extensions that I want you to install are, so there's one called Emmet. Back in the day, it wasn't built in into Visual Studio Code, but if you have downloaded just now, or if you have updated your Visual Studio Code, I believe it will be there. So Emmet is already installed. We don't need to install Emmet. There is one called Live Server. Called Live Server, right? Yeah, Live Server. Install this. I'll tell you all what it means, and HTML snippets. Nah, so yeah, don't need anything else. There are a few more. I'll let you guys know as and when I come to it. Something like a bracket pair colorizer. Bracket pair colorizer. Install this. It will color the brackets. I'm installing two. Bracket pair colorizer. And yeah, I think this is it for now. If we want to have more extensions, I'll tell you as and when we talk about them. So yeah, let's go back to the index.html. And for now, let's simply do one thing. I'm going to press shift and make. Yeah, so simply press shift, press exclamation key, which is a symbol that is available on top of the number 1 key on your keyboard. So, and simply press return. And this is what I mean by Emmet. You'll have the basic setup, the very basic setup for HTML right in front of you. Press Control S, where we have body. You can write your name, SARTHAKPATRA. That's Sarthak Batra. That's me. And yeah, we are ready with our first web page already. And I'd like you to, go to, how do we initiate live server? Where is it? Oh yeah, go live. So here, this one. So what I mean by this is, you can simply click on go live here, and bada bing, bada boom, you will have something that looks like this. Already, that's your first page. Congratulations. You have made your first page, but it looks very, obviously it looks very blank. So of course we're going to work on it, but bingo, you've taken your first major steps into being a web developer. Give yourselves a pat on the back and we'll move forward. I will be a little more quick in my explanations from this point forward, because this is, a lot of this is going to be, when you see it is when you understand it. So it's going to be a lot of visual cues that you need about what I'm telling you, right? First of all, very simply, let's just look at what has Emmet given us. It has given us this doc type HTML. It has given up this HTML head HTML lang en head meta title, another head, body, another body, and another HTML. There is but a difference in this. If you notice this, these occur in pairs. So this is what I mean by opening and closing tag. So everything inside this is part of that tag. Let me make this simpler for you. I'll write this down myself. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll write HTML. So these are the bare minimum tags that you need to have your web page, right? HTML, and I'll have a title. In fact, I'll not have a title. Okay. For now, let's have a head tag. Open and close it. If you have Visual Studio properly configured, it will close it itself. And let's have a body tag. I'll just explain what they mean, what these guys do, what these funny looking symbols do. So everything inside this tag is part of HTML, right? It's a relic from the past, essentially an artifact, because even if you don't use that, even if I simply write is writing this again with no tags and I save it and I not possible. That's fine. That's fine. So Sarthak Batra is writing this again. It just updated. Right? Sarthak Batra is writing this again. You didn't need to write any tags, but this is why I say it's a relic from the past, because earlier you could not make a web page with just this. The browser simply won't recognize it. Now we have the language HTML5 and browsers smart enough to just know. But this is what I mean that when I say that it's like making a poster. So, and I'm using Control Z here. I'm using Control Z, and Control Z is undo. Control Shift Z is redo. So for example, oops, I made a mistake. I want to get rid of this. When you press Control Z, it will recursively or simply step by step go back to each step that you have written. I've in fact mapped it to an I have mapped it to my hotkeys here on my Stream Deck. See, I can redo and undo. Anyway, so HTML to HTML marks the boundaries of where your HTML code resides, and this is the head of the HTML. Head contains some metadata, some data that doesn't show on the browser, but it tells the browser about the kind of data that you're sending, some other kind of processes that you want to be used. Also at this point, I'm seeing another change. Go here, install another extension. It's called Prettier. Okay. Prettier code formatter. Please install this. This is what's causing my code to shift change on save. So I've made up a key binding which saves my code on change, formats it on save, and yeah, it's using the Prettier extension. If you want to be where I am, install the Prettier extension. Then let's go to preferences. It's here, code. Other preferences, just type preferences here. So preferences, settings. It's control comma or command comma. It'll open this and save on format. Format on save. I'm sorry. You write format on save. You click this on, and it just formats everything on save. So even if I make it out of order, if I do it like this, and I do it this way, if I make it look dirty, format on save will, like if I now press Control S, it will make it look nice and pretty. So that's what Prettier and format on save are doing for me, right? So head takes a couple of metadata, like the title that you're giving the page. For example, I'll tell you what title means. For example, you see this written here. Let me make it bigger. Started writing this again, but if you look here, it's this dirty thing. 127.0.0.1:5500/index.html. What if I want to put my name here? That's all the data that the browser uses to make it look better. That's where the part comes in, the head part. I'll simply do a title. I'll write title here. And title is where we can write whatever appears on the browser. So if I write title Satrabhatra here, now it's not saying Satrabhatra here. That's because live server is running this. And I'd like to refresh. It now says Satrabhatra here. See, this is what title does. And everything in the body went away because there is nothing in the body, right? I'd like you to, for everyone else, to give me a sentence that we can write in the body so that we can see. Again, from the Let's Upgrade class. I'd like you all to write this and then write your name below. Like, literally just press enter, write your name and your name. It formats it, it puts it there. Just do that and you'll see hello again from the Let's Upgrade class. This is not necessarily a very good representation of what I'm going for, because actually it looks like this. It's very small. I'm actually increasing the size of my browser so that y'all can see, but there are other ways to make it larger. CSS, cascading style sheets. There are, HTML5 native API, something like a heading tag. In fact, let me tell you about the heading tag. So if I want this, you also notice that even if I put it in the next line, and if I switch off my format on save, if I switch it off, then while this remains in the next line, I want it to remain here. I don't want it to be in the same line. I want this to be in the next line. But even if I save it, go here and refresh, it's still in the same line. It doesn't respect my formatting. That's not good. Let's change that. Okay. So, by the way, again, do we have questions at this point? Go on, fire on, because from the corner of my eye, I see some movements in the chat, which I love. But if there are questions, please pop them up. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm just reading the chat and I'll pick up some questions if I see any. Yeah, it's pretty annoying that it's not respecting my formatting. We'll come to it a little later. Right now, let's talk about how to make this appear larger without having to make it large, make your browser large. So let's make it into a heading. Like you write headings on your page, on your poster. This is a poster we're making, right? Let's make it into a heading. And heading comes, if you have to make it into a heading, you have to write it between the opening and closing tags for heading, just like everything inside body appears in body. And so if you have to write a heading, you have to write an opening and closing tag for heading, and the opening and closing tag for heading is simply called H, along with the number from 1 to 6. Those define the weight of the heading that you want. So for example, 1 is the highest weight. So this will appear boldest. I will get rid of this for now. And let's get here. This will appear the boldest. If I now go back, you know what I mean? Even if I make it the regular size from 500, it is still larger than the regular text. I'll show you how. So it is larger, it is more eye-catching than the regular text. This will appear bold as that's what it means. Okay, this will probably show you a good contrast of how I wanted to, the difference that I want to show you. We'll write H1 here. H1. Okay, closing tags are important, very important. Yeah, closing tags are very important, by the way, guys. Can't really function without them. I'll tell you why. If you see this smooth arrow here and you see the dotted arrow here, and some extensions that I'm using, you don't really need to worry about it. It's just a visual thing, that's all. But there is one thing that I'd like you to know. If I have to use now, I have to use H2, and it's already suggesting me. So these are a few more extensions that I'm using. Firstly, GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot, what it does, it's a paid extension, by the way, so you don't necessarily need to use it. So what GitHub Copilot does is that it starts suggesting me the next line that I want to write. And if I want this, I simply need to press, not this, I need to press tab, and now I have this code written already. But it's a subscription-based thing. I pay $10 US per month to have this privilege. You can easily get by without it. That's not a problem if you don't want to do it. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and disable all these extensions. One sec. Give me a minute. I'll go ahead and disable all these extensions. Give me a minute, guys. Jeffrey Bezos. Give me just one more minute. This is the thing with my, there's so many extensions that are happening at the same time. I need to just let them off, and I think I've switched them off now. So I'll take you back to my screen. You can see. Okay. So now if I go to the next line, code will not appear because I've switched those extensions off. Still appearing. Give me a minute. There's something silly happening here. Give me 1 minute. I've disabled it. Why is it not? Come on, man. No more? No more. I was just testing it myself. So no more of these things here. And we can easily go forward. But you already have emit. I wanted to switch everything off because I wanted to show you that because you have emit, you don't really need all this code completion, not now at least, necessarily, definitely not now. So if I want to make an H3 is heading 3. Does anyone have an idea in the chat? I see a few people typing in, and they are correct. I simply write H3 and press tab. And voila, that's what emit does for you. So you don't necessarily need to have all of these copilots and everything, what have you installed for you, right? So you can write. Now I have to do a bit more manual work, but that's what we are here for. Well, let's have our basics set first, and we can worry about it later. So all these, I have so many extensions. I code in so many languages, C#, C++, Rust, and what have you. So all of these have so many things working at the same time because my ID is, hyper streamlined to a lot of different things. So while I'm having these distractions, you will not. Don't worry about it, unless you want them to have. And let's use this opportunity to simply copy paste and write these down, you know, again and again, so that we have everything from H1 to H6 for comparison right now. I'm using this Shift plus Option on Mac, and I believe Alt on Windows, and with the direction key of up or down. So when you do that, for example, I'm on this line, I'm pressing Shift now and Option and down. It will copy whatever line I'm on, the entire line, and it will copy it down. If I press up, it will copy the line up. You don't see it, but it actually has. Okay, H1, H2, H3 we have. Now we're gonna go to H4, H5. Let's make sure the tags reflect the difference. H4, H5. Let's make sure the closing tags are same. They reflect the same difference. And we need one more, which is H6. 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 Okay, so that's all the heading tag. Heading tag makes it bolder. It's also a you know, how do I put it? A div, a syntactic sugar over div tag, but you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it right now. If I now go here and refresh the page, you will have unable to connect. Sorry, for some reason because I restarted the ID, right? So the live server stopped working. So I've restarted the live server again, and you see the difference here. This is the different kinds of heading that appear. This will appear the boldest H1, this will appear larger H2, this will appear larger H3. You can change the messages in whatever way you want. I just wanted to give you a visual representation. I didn't really bother with these. So, and that's the regular text. Okay, is that clear? Let's move on to the next part. And if I want, regular text, in a new line. If I write this and I just pray that it's in a new line, let's see what happens. It's not a new line. What do? Just being dramatic for dramatic purposes. Don't even know what to say. Anyway, so essentially we want a block level element, and the easiest, you don't need to worry about block level element right now. Block level element simply means that it takes the entire block of the screen, so nothing else can appear in the same block, right? And we will talk about that in a little while. Okay, so the simplest block level element that we have is p tag. P stands for paragraph. So anything inside the paragraph tag is part of that block. So if I put this here, now this will appear in a new line. Why? Because this is the block. I can show you. One sec. And oh, by the way, in case we forget, everyone has the capacity to open developer tools on their computers, their browsers, whichever browser you are, right click, inspect, and here you are. What I'm also doing is there's this on Firefox, at least there's this, and I'm sure on Chrome, I'm definitely sure on Chrome, there is this little arrow. You click on it and now you can inspect the elements that have appeared. So, and it will mark them. So now if I'm on P, it shows, while I know it's very small for you, but if you look here right above P, there's a small tag which says it's a P tag. Similarly with this, it says H6. Similarly with this, it says H5. You just need to hover over the tag. So for right now, it says the body tag at the top of the screen. And it's too small for you. You probably can't see it, but believe me, it is there. Similarly for this, the regular text, it's just part of body tag. There is no special tag for regular text. So when I hover over regular text, the entire body is selected. If I hover over please be in a new line. Only this is selected because this is part of its own tag. This is also what I mean, that we are putting the Lego blocks together to create a poster. This is the Lego block. I hope the picture now is clearer in your head. In your head. This is very famous song called Zombie. I really love it. It goes like this. In your head. In your head. Zombie. Zombie. Let's not get distracted. Very simply, P means paragraph tag, and help in a very helpful manner. It gives us a link to the MDN reference, like even VS Code prefers MDN over W3 schools. And if I click on it, it will take me to the MDN reference. It is here. Let me open that MDN reference in a new tab. And let's make this bigger. The paragraph element. I'd like you all to read this at your own time. We'll just move forward. You'll have to just take my word for it that it is paragraph is a block level element, and as we work on it, we'll find more uses for it. Okay. Anywho, so moving on. Let's talk about how it took us from here all the way to different website when I clicked on it. And initially the web was just hyperlinks, just links that took you from one page to another. That was a very important function that even Web 1, the first generation of HTML, had. And I'd like you to know about it right now. That's in fact the next thing I'd like you to talk to you about. So, for example, I want to go to the last website that I was on. Yeah, so let me take this, copy this, and if I want to tell you to read about it, here. Click this text. Okay. So essentially what I want is when I click this text, I want me to be taken to the website that I just was on. Okay. And like I said, the initial purpose of HTML, this is how we achieve it. We use an anchor tag. An anchor tag is essentially used for linking one page to another. That page can be on your own website. That page can be anywhere on the internet. And let's do it this way. Again, anchor tag is represented by just A, open and close, and you simply write it like this. Emmet will help you here. You write A tag and href. Href is an attribute. Attribute is essentially extra properties that it takes so that you can fine-tune it to what you want it to be. Okay. I'm going to delete everything there is, and I'm going to write this. I am going to, and so it needs to go between this anchor tag here. And let me be clean in my implementation. Oh, also, if you don't want to have format on save, like I've switched it off right now, you can simply, control shift V, and yeah, so this will open the runner for your VS Code. You can simply write format document, press enter. It's now formatted. Okay. Now, if you look at it, if I go here, it says please be in a new line, read more about it here. And now if I click on it, let me just stop highlighting it. And if I now click on it, it takes me to that page. That's what it was supposed to do. I'll make another anchor tag, and this is an exercise I want you guys to do with me. Make another P tag. Inside that P tag, make another anchor tag. That anchor tag should take us to your social media, your Facebooks or GitHubs or what have you. I'll do the same with you. If you get confused, look at it. If not, let's move forward. So let me quickly do this p tag, right? So let's write down a p tag. Inside the p tag, this is my Twitter. I want this Twitter to take me there. Okay, so let me just cut it for now, and I'll take an a tag. Let's just have a blank a tag. Let's write Twitter here, and inside I'll write my Twitter URL, which is https://twitter.com/Sarthak Batra. I will save it and I will see what it shows. Oh, is the live server switched off again? Let's go live. Hold on. Right, this is my Twitter. And if I click on it, it takes me to my Twitter. That's where it is. And you know, if you want, so I'm clicking on it, you may notice a few things. Earlier it was lighter green, lighter blue. Now it is a little darker blue. This denotes that we have clicked the link already. And also when I click on it, it opens it in the same tag. This is again, this is why I told you about the attributes, right? I can tell the anchor tag to open it in a new tab. Target should be blank. Yeah. If I now click on it, it should open in a new tab as it is doing. So yeah, do this and do this quickly. Take your time, not a lot. Take the next 30 seconds. We'll move on from here and we'll add pictures and descriptions for embedding images. So these are a few. Today I'll introduce you, like I said in the beginning, to introduce you to a few basic tags so that you guys are up and ready and confident when you're doing this yourself, and we can move on to a little more complicated things today. Remember, the most important thing is to practice. Okay, now moving on to the next part. We want to put an image here. As usual, everything has a tag. Image has a tag too. And if you start writing image, Google will, or you start writing img, which is short for images, Emmet will give you a suggestion like it is giving me, and all you need to do is press tab on it. See, it is giving me an image already. Now, what image do I want? Let's just put some random image. I'm going to this website called Pexels, pexels.com. Let's make it a little bigger. These are free stock images that anyone can use. Okay, for example, this. And you can simply click on free download, and I'm sorry, give me a minute. Or even here, who is your favorite cricketer? Mine's Virat Kohli. Click on it. I go to images. I click on, it looks nice here. Right click, copy image link, copy image link. So now when I'm in my image tag, there's an src attribute. Src means source. In the source tag, I can simply put the URL where I got that image from. What I mean is, this is the URL, right? If I click on the URL, it takes me to this image. That's what we are doing. I've put that URL here, and this is what it does to my page. To a large big image of Virat Kohli. We'll make it smaller. Don't worry, we'll make it smaller. And that's going to be a task. This is why I wanted to go to Pexels. But this is what it does. The image tag simply takes the image, dumps it in its original resolution here. Let's look for a smaller image actually, because this making it smaller, while trivial, it's not part of today's agenda, simply because I want you to be comfortable first before getting into this. This is a step above the very basics. So we'll look for a smaller color, smaller size. Let's look for a small image. I think this is the same image, right? Oh, this one when the guy was younger. Nah, this one works. So if I take the copy image link, I go back, instead of this, I delete everything that we have here. And I copy this and I paste it. Now, if I go here on my web page, much more manageable, isn't it? Wouldn't you say? It's looking pixelated because I selected a low resolution image. That's why it was smaller. And I've also increased the size of my browser, but this is a good image. So if this is how it looks in real life, but because I'm increasing the size of my browser manually, so that's what it does. Anywho, this is how you can put images in your web page. And if we inspect element on this, you'll see, first of all, you'll notice all of your why is this not getting bigger? So everything that you've written in your page, in your web page up till now, in your index.html, it appears here in this very same format. It also appears with all the content that you've put. There is no alt. Alt is what I meant by having essentially an alternative for when the image won't load, and I can show it to you. If I go to network settings, you don't need to know this, but if I do this, regular 2G, since this image is posted over the internet, and I've put my internet as regular 2G instead of no throttling. So no throttling was that my internet was working at the speed that I get it, which is, for now, it's 300 Mbps, the download and uploads. So now I've put it on regular 2G, which is the old technologies that we use. So if I now refresh this page, you'll see everything else will load except for this image. It loaded quickly anyway. Hold on. If I go offline, will it still load? Let's make it GPRS. So the images, it's a rather small image, so it's loading positives and negatives to everything. Let's go here. Let's find this time let's find a large image. Let's find a wallpaper. Let's click on this, right click, copy image link. Now let's go here. Let me delete everything from here all the way to here. Paste it. Let's go there and see that the image is not loaded. The web page is at the end and the image is not loaded. Why? Because the image is rather large and there is nothing to indicate that there is an image there. This is not good experience. We want users to know that there is an image there, and what that image is. That's where the alt line comes into play. You give it another attribute called alt, and I write here an image of Virat Kohli, the genius cricketer. And now if I go back, even if the image hasn't loaded, it has given me an alternative description in place of an image in case the image doesn't load. That's what alt does. It's good experience for the end user, so that even in case the image doesn't load, we still have this. And now let me remove that barrier. Come on. So inspect anyway. Now let me go to network and remove the throttling barrier. If I now reload it, still not reloading. Yeah, so this shows you that it's small, rather small. If I go here, console, oh, the image is not loading already at all. The image is faulty. That's also where alt comes into play. See, I didn't even know. And alt just saved my ass. Let me click on this and let me do some undo so that I have the last image. Okay, let me go here and let's put the alt text again. So now if I go there, you have this image. In case there is some problem with this image or the link is not right, if I write all of this here, now the image will not load. Still loading. Funny things are happening today. No matter. Let's see how you load now. Is it loading? No, because no such image exists. But now you still have an alternative tag. That's what the alt tag does. Okay, it's used for describing an image, as simple as that. And that's how we have embedded an image into a web page. Go on and embed your own image. I know that you can't do it right now because where is your image on the internet that you will, put the link here. That's where, when we're talking about our slides, that's where the assets come. I'd like this image to be available here in my project folder. So for that to happen, I will simply reveal this in folder, reveal this in Finder, and make it large. It's your life, make it large. And I'll have an image here about, I think I have a few images, like let's say, let's copy this image, copy, let's go back and paste it here, paste item. Now I have an image called pic for CSP. This is the image that we were using earlier. Instead of writing all this larger screen and having that image exist somewhere over the internet, I can simply put this here. Oh, come on. Give me a minute, guys. Let me manually delete everything. And let's put slash pic for CFP. Your VS Code will do the same. It will auto suggest. And now if I go there on my image, now my image will appear in place of the other image. This is what we wanted. How about you guys put your image there? Put your image in the project folder and have your image show here. If I mess up with my image, essentially not having the right address to the image, it will show an image of Virat Kohli, the genius cricketer. Instead, we'll have an image of Sarthak Batra. Right? Right. Let's have that image back. In the meantime, please go on, put your images there. I will come back to you guys in 2 minutes. I'll take a short little break. I'll hydrate. And by the time I'm back, this is not a pause. I want you guys to put your images there. Okay? And we'll come back and we'll close this session for today. Go on, please go on. As a matter of fact, let's just, do this quickly. Now, this is my image. I want you guys to put in your image on the web page, and let's move on to the next tag in the agenda that we have. And it's about lists. Let's make a few lists. I want to have a few things that I want to teach you guys. I want to teach you guys about ordered list and unordered list. So when I write this down here, it will, hold on, for now, let me get rid of this because it's appearing on the body. I want to teach you guys about ordered list and unordered list. Okay. What are ordered lists? Ordered lists are essentially just lists which start with an order. What I mean by an order is either by an alphabet or by a number. So 1, 2, 3, point 1, point 2, point 3, or point A, point B, point C, that's an ordered list. Unordered list is just bullet points. There is no order to them. There is no priority to any point. Ordered list, by their very nature, gives some priority to whatever is number one, that gets priority 1. And you would wonder, why did I have to comment this out? Let's uncomment it and let's put this inside a p tag so that this gets block level element treatment. Okay, now if I go here, it will appear in the bottom. Otherwise, it was appearing behind the picture. That's how it works. Okay. So ordered list. The tag for ordered list is very inventively. Let me just also format the document. What I did was Command Shift P and started typing format. You start typing it, it will appear here. And you can format your document like this. So I want to teach you guys about ordered list and unordered lists. Right? Ordered list. Not this. Another p tag. Close it. Ordered list. Some sort of priority or order. Okay. And unordered lists have no priority or order. I'll show you what I mean. So ordered lists are very inventively come under the tag called OL. OL for O for ordered, L for list. So you give it a tag OL. This marks the boundary of the opening and closing of an ordered list. So everything inside this will be part of the list. But I simply cannot write just one and then I write my name and write 2. Give it a new line, give it 2 and write Chetan, and what the hell? And if we write Chetna. Very inventive. Even if I do this in an ordered list, it appears something like this: 1, 2, 3 Chetna. That's not exactly what I want because it looks like it is ordered. It is not. It is simply just one p element. I can prove it to you again. If you inspect element here, click on inspect element. Inspect element tells you how it actually appears on the code. It is just like this. It is Sarthak, Chetan, Chetna. It is no order we are maintaining specifically. So first of all, I don't even need to write 1 or 2. I can simply put them inside. Each of them is their own item, right? One item of the list. So very inventively, ordered list and unordered list have a sub tag. That means a tag that resides inside a parent tag. It's called li. Li simply means list item. So now if I write Sarthak here and Chetan here and Chetna here, notice I have not given them any any priority myself, but this well. 1 Sarthak, 2 Chetan, 3 Chetna. I didn't have to write 1, 2, 3 myself, and it is doing it on its own. That's what an ordered list does. Similarly, an unordered list is marked by UL, open and close UL, and same things, takes a sub tag called li. Inside the sub tag, you can write whatever you want to be part of that list. So li, Sarthak, Chetan, Chetna. Instead of this, let's write. I'm picking up names from the chat. I hope you guys don't mind. राहुल नाम तो सुना ही होगा. If we do this and go here, this is an ordered list. This is an unordered list. You see the difference? You see now? Okay, so let's go on and quickly move on to the next part, which is having divs. Let me write this down properly. Let's put ordered list here. I'm just, rearranging everything so that it appears in a manner that I've written them. So ordered lists have some sort of order or priority here. Unordered lists have no priority or order. I'm in Rahul Arpit. Okay, let's move on. And the next thing I want to tell you about is we've been using div tags. Sorry, we've been using p tag to create this some sort of, division in our code. We actually already have a tag for it. P is, not necessarily the tag that we have to use. There's a tag called divs. You can simply use this. Does the same thing P does, only better. Div simply means a logical division. So if I write, hey, I am divided. Okay, so now even if I put them in the same line, so essentially, hey, I am divided, everything in the same line. But if you go here, you'll find them all into different lines, because div is a basic block level element which is occupying everything in that block. Let me make it bigger. So if we go here now and I go to this, you see an entire div element. Same with this, this, and this. So that's what div does. Come on, what the hell is happening, man? Dude, man. Anyway, so that's what I was talking about, div. Div is simply a logical division of your code. You can have, div can have any and all elements as inside it. So any element can be part of div. Let me bring this here. Let me rearrange everything quickly. Code goes here, terminal goes here. Right. So any and all elements can be part of div, and it will respect that. So as an exercise, I want you guys to put an image and ordered list inside this div. That's an exercise. You can attempt it later. I will sweeten the pot for that exercise. I will, don't worry. Give me a minute. So that's what div does. Just similar to div, we have some header and footer tags. These are again semantic tags. They make the web more accessible. They are essentially logical divisions again, but for specific purposes. So div is a logical division for any purpose. You can use it anywhere if you don't think of, if you're not able to think of any semantic tag. But with HTML5, we actually have semantic tags. Where does semantic tag come in handy? They come in handy for web crawlers, for makes, like I've been saying, it makes the web more accessible. So people of all kinds of disabilities can go on and follow it, right? So let's do that. And yeah, let me give you an example. Right now, let me just start and end with just two. It's the footer, which, as the name says, appears at the bottom of the page, marks the footer. This is the footer. And similarly, while you can put it anywhere, there's another tag, the corollary tag. It is called the header. Appears at the top. This is the header. Simple as that. Now, if I go there, this is the header with a header tag, and this is the footer with a footer tag. Go on and make it quickly. There are a few more tags that I want to talk to you about today, and those are, from the notes that I've made here, those tags are nav. Nav is a tag that is used specifically for navigation. So when you go to websites, the top of whatever you see, this part is all navigation, because it allows you to navigate through the website. That's navigation, right? And nav is a semantic tag for that. This part contains navigation, and this goes to the top because navigation is usually on the top, right? So right over header, navigation has to be the first thing that you see on the website. Right over header, this part contains navigation. I know it looks a lot of walls of text right now. It will continue to look like this until tomorrow when I put more effort into it, so that you can see the differences. Okay, the last two tags for the day that we are talking about are article and section. A lot of the web that I told you earlier was all about just static content. Static content was just information dump. So a lot of information can be wrapped around in an article tag. This just tells the web crawlers that whatever you're reading inside it is part of the articles. So this is like my article. What is an article? Article is any written piece. Simple as that. Similarly, another similar tag, much similar, is section. Section is essentially just any part of the website. So you want to have something on the left, something on the right. You can call it div and div, but you can also, on the left, you can simply just call it section. On the right, you can call it article. What it does, it again, all of this is to make the web more accessible for the web crawlers, for people who are hard of hearing. It has, and who cannot probably see properly. All of this makes it much more nicer for them. So section is on the either on the left or the right. Simply tells you about the section. This is the section. Okay, and this section, right? All of this appears as plain text. This is essentially just specialized divs. Okay, these are division of logical division of content. These are very specialized divs, which mark a very special purpose for not for you, not for me, because we can just simply see it only as text. We won't know if it's a div or not, but it marks a very special purpose for the web crawlers, for people who are hard of hearing or who have problems in seeing properly. This makes the web much more nicer and easier and accessible to them. That's why we use them. When we, sometime tomorrow, I'll give you more examples. I'll find more examples and give them to you, and you'll be able to see what I mean. And yeah, that's that. That is the end of everything that I had in my agenda today. I don't want to, make this a very heavy session. I don't want to top load you with a lot of information, which is not necessary right now. So we'll take a pause today. Here, let's do a quick heads up of what all we talked about today. We talked about, so we talked about how websites work. I gave you all these slides and everything of how websites work. You will find those slides in the description. So I give you the slides of how the website works. I give you the evolution of HTML from whatever it was up to now, HTML5, and setting up the dev environment, simply doing this. There were so many tags, the basics of setup, everything that we did here. Basics of a web page, we talked about that. We talked about a few tags, a few commonly used tags, H1 all the way to H1 through H6. Regular text, which is part of body, again, the structure of an HTML page. We also talked about hypertext, hyperlinks used, used with the anchor tag, image tags, ordered lists, unordered lists. We talk about div tags, and gave you an exercise. Please do this part, and we talk about a few semantic tags like header, footer, navigation, section, article, and that's all in my agenda for today. I will see you guys very soon, tomorrow, if I'm not wrong. Same time tomorrow, we'll go over the intermediate HTML. This was very basic. This was just to get everyone started, even someone who had never heard of HTML or CSS. So this was just to get everyone started, everyone on the same page. Now that everyone has the same base, tomorrow we'll talk about intermediate HTML. We'll talk about forms and input types. We'll talk about some advanced HTML concepts like figures, captions. The figures and captions are to images what section is to div. So figures, captions, these are semantic tags for images. They will come in later. Tomorrow I'll tell you about them. We'll also talk about more semantic tags, details, summaries, audio, video. These are the APIs, like I said, that initially you had to use Flash to access them. Now you have them embedded in web APIs. We'll also talk about the importance of semantic. Why are we doing all of this? We'll talk about SEO and accessibility, and I think that covers all intermediate. So yeah, that's what we'll do tomorrow. The day after, we'll talk about putting everything together in a pleasing manner so that it look pleasing to the eyes. So yeah, that's that. Did you guys like it? Let me know in the chat. Please go on, pop off. How did you think today's class was? I would really love your feedback. Go on, man. If anyone's writing, I'm reading now. Thank you. Thanks, man. But I'm glad you guys liked the class. We will continue further. I will take it forward from here. And any more questions, reach out to me here. Reach out to me anytime you want. Reach out to me through LetsUpgrade. And I will be more than happy to help you with this. Ooh. We covered a lot today. But it was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. And with that, I think we're going to break for today. We're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to do this better. We're going to make this look very appealing, look very nice. So yeah, bye.